So with the right people talent assessment, it's a regular review of individual team members or the team as a whole, that you assess whether they are living the core values, whether they're productive in the roles that they have, and you want to avoid the C player trap. And I'll tell you what that looks like in context of the matrix in a second. And your options, leading strongly, is this person I want to retain, and I just want to do whatever I can to help them be as good as they are right now and just go forward because they are just the rock star. There's also another person that I need to spend some more time on. I need to coach them. They can get there. They're not quite there yet for whatever reason, and I know I need to allocate time there. There's a third person that I'm going to say, listen, I've coached, I've tried all these things. It's up to you now. You either have to shape up or you have to ship out. It's time, right? And that's the warning. And there's the moving on. You've warned, you've coached, this person's just not going to shift to where you're going to go to, and you need to start to figure out how to get them out of your business. And this is on you. This is the courage of leadership, right? So let's have a look at what that looks like in terms of the talent assessment chart. On the vertical axis, you've got core values, right? 0%, this person is just not living your values that you've articulated and communicated. 100% is they're completely, utterly on board. On the horizontal axis, though, you've got productivity, right? So 0%, they're just useless. 100% is they are hitting it out of the park 24/7. They are just incredibly bang for their buck in terms of what they bring to the business. Okay, so they're super productive, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're super busy in terms of putting in hours. The output that they produce for you is really big. Now, let's cycle through here. So let's start at the top left, the B player, right? Low on productivity, high on core values. You know what? They're the perfect person in terms of what you want the business to be about. They live and breathe the values. They're on board with the meetings. They're enthusiastic about everything that you're trying to do, but they don't get shit done, right? That person, honestly, it's great. It's great that they're so much on board, but you need to figure out, are they doing the right things? Because they're clearly enthusiastic. Why are they not bringing it? Why is their productivity low? Is it because they're sitting in the wrong seat? Is it because they haven't got the right tools? Or is it because they're actually full of BS, right? And they're fooling you in terms of they're on the core values. Figure out what it is, but they're a B player. They can be coached into becoming an A player, but it's on you to figure out, have they got the tools? Have they got the system for that? And we've got, again, when we go through this, the whole cycle, I'll introduce more tools for you to coach and train. Let's go down a notch. The C player, low on productivity, low on core values. Honestly, guys, why do you still have them in your business? Why are they there? Why have you not made a plan for them to see themselves through the door? You should have systems of performance engagement, of understanding where everybody's at. That the C player should just be worked out the door. Okay, don't want those people. They're making it difficult for everybody else and sucking up too much of your time. The B to C player, that's my personal favorite. The 0 to they're high on productivity. I always think of an ex-employee of mine. She was wonderful, and German. So yeah, Janine. Let's not infer from that. She was great, but she was like halfway there on values. So she sucked up so much of my time because she wasn't aligned with everything that we were trying to do. And I had a few of those over the years in my business, and I can't get rid of that person. They're too important. The job, it'll be too hard to replace them. And when they go, right? When they go, you're always so glad. You're actually quite happy to take the pain of recruiting, putting in more time yourself, whatever that looks, because they were just such a drain on your personal energy. Your B2C player, they need to be, honestly, they need to be warned and talked to. They need to get up to core values. They need to get in line with what the company is trying to do. If they don't share the core values, they can't adopt them. No matter how effective they are holding back the rest of the team. They're holding back your momentum as a business. A star, a superstar that just does their own thing and isn't on board with everybody else, it's very, very destructive for you. So terrorists, you got to really be careful of those. And make that call. If what they're doing and the way they are is ringing for everybody else, then you also have to make a plan. If they can't be coached into an A player. Your A player, of course, you know exactly who they are. They share the core values. They're on board with what the business is trying to do. You trust them. They understand what they're trying to do, and they're doing the right job for them. Guys, what you don't want to do is turn an A player into a B player, where they're a great consultant and now you make them a manager. Be very careful. Again, have you seen this? You know, you take a great jockey and you turn them into manager, and they're not, this is not the right job for them. You take a great salesperson and you ask them to do lots of admin. This is where your A player becomes a B player. Make sure you've got them in the right seat. Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. A players is what you want, but you won't always, almost never have a company just with A players. B and C players, you can probably accommodate one, like a Dennis Rodman in the Bulls back in the day. You can accommodate one guy that's off on the reservation, but you can't have too many of these, otherwise it's going to be too difficult. Your B players, you got to ask the question: are they doing the right things? And there's a lot of coaching involved there. And C players, honestly, just why are they there? Why are they? That's on you as the leader. You got to ship those guys out. Okay. And if you've got a B and C player that's highly destructive because they're low on core values to the rest of the organization, but you feel you can't get rid of them because they're too important, well, again, that takes courage. That goes back to Janine's earlier thing of what would affect you on the business and how serious are you about your values to enforce those consequences. Right. So what I want you to do is your talent assessment chart that you've got in your Dropbox. I want you to go and take your team, and Eric, this will be interesting for you in terms of how you guys are going to do this. I'll leave it to you to decide, but for the rest of you, I want you to put in play your A's, your B's, your C's, your B and C's. Map them on the chart, right, in those four quadrants. And then once you've done that, maybe put in the team member initials below. Give them a productivity score and a core value score, right? So if you're not sure on the above, you can first do the below, either or. But you're going to start seeing a thing, making sense of who's who in the zoo in terms of your team, and most importantly, what's your action plan for the next planning period? What are you going to do now? Really having a critical look at these people. Are you going to coach? Are you going to warn? Right? Are you going to give some more goodies to them because they're amazing and you want to acknowledge how unbelievable they are in your team? What is it that you're going to do? And the last thing that I said, A players, do we do enough to acknowledge A players and reward them on a continuous basis? Because that's also important, right? It's not just about fixing things, it's about celebrating the wins. Okay.